Good day, everyone. My name is Adeshino, and I'm going to be creating a new pipe session. And the idea for this video is to help you break a pipe at a particular angle. Take, for instance, what I have at this point. So I'm going to be teaching you how to give your pipe an inclination. Okay, so let's go to start from a new project. So I go to my file and I click on new. Yes, I click piping. Okay, it's asking me to save my previous work. So let me quickly save that. So I'm just going to save it with today's date, which is 150820. Okay, there we have it. So I have a brand new project, and the first thing that I'm being asked by Start Prof, the piping type, I leave it as all. My pipe stress code, I leave it as B31.3, and I can also have options for support load, T-joint flexibility, lateral stress allowable, etc., etc. So you can just click on any one that is applicable to your piping. But since the idea of this video is to show you how to make a pipe at an inclined angle, I will leave this the way it is and click OK. So at this point, I can start modeling my pipe. So I click on a new piping section. And it says model from pipe 1 to 2. So I'm supposed to define where I'm going to have my piping, the length of the pipe. So I'll make it as 10 meters, diameter 216 millimeter, wall thickness, I keep it as 12, corrosion allowance 2, material, I can just pick any material, force 15 atmosphere, temperature 23, test pressure 25 atmosphere, insulation, asbestos, fluid air, so I can leave it that way. All right. And there I have my piping section from point 1 to point 2. So next thing what I want to do at this point in time is to add my fixed support at both ends. So I come to point 2, I add my support. Same thing at point 1 or node 1, pardon me. All right, so I have that. Let me make my pipe section a little bit longer. I double click on the pipe section. Initially I have 10 meters. Let me make this 25. Yes, so I have that. So this is quite long enough. So I want to add some nodes on my pipe section. So I click on several nodes and I'll say number of parts. Let's say 10. All right. And what do I want to have? I want to have a hinge support. Okay. And I click OK. So there I have it. I have my pipe section and I have support all across my piping section. Okay. So the next thing I want to do now is to break my pipe in between to give it an angle of inclination of 45. So first thing I'm going to do is to click on the section where I want to have my inclination, and while doing that I will add another node because you cannot bend, take for instance, you cannot bend the pipe where you have an already existing support. So I have to create a new node for the bend that I want to put on this pipeline. And how do I do that? I highlight the piping section where I want to have the new node, and I go to node, I click and I insert. So StarProf is asking me that at what distance do I want to insert my node? I will say at my midpoint, and I click OK. So there I have my node. At this point in time, I can click on this section, and here is rotate selection. So I click on rotate selection, and I come to my node, I click, and StarProf asks rotate about local pipe axis. X, I will say Y, and by angle of 45 degrees, apply. So let's see my piping session. Just a minute. Okay, so I click on my piping session, rotate. So click on my Y 45 degrees, and there you have it. Okay, so my pipe is rotated 45 degrees along Y. All right, so that is how to create an angle of inclination for a pipe. So about this point, I'm going to do something now. I'm going to add a bend at my point 12. So I click, I want a short bend, and I click OK. So there you have it. So let's try something. I said earlier on that you cannot have a bend at the same node where you have a support. So let me try to do that. Since I have a bend there, let me copy it, Control C, and I come to my node 6 where I have a support, Control V. So you see, StarProf gave me a warning sign saying deleting, inserting, or rotating a pipe creates a node with an incompatible combination of element restraints of deformation. So I cannot add my bend at that particular joint. So as a design engineer, how am I going to address that? Yes, you guessed right. So let's create a new node about this axis, move my support here, then I'll be able to add my bend or my elbow at node 6. So how do I do that? Very simple. Click on node, come to this point, I click. So it says 1.6 meters from node 6, 10.8 meters from node 5. I'll say okay. So I have this node. So let me zoom in so that I can see better. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to highlight my supports, cuts. I'll come to my node 13 and I paste it. So at this point in time, I can go back to my bend and I copy, Control C, and I go to my node 6, Control V. So you can see now I have that bend. Okay, so that is how to change the angle of inclination of a pipeline. Thank you.